in. My name's Ray. Smoking in a woodshed. Welcome. So, today I'd like to talk to you about a tobacco that I really like. GLP's Jackknife Plug. It's a Kentucky, dark Kentucky leaf with bright Virginia blend. It's processed and then pressed. I believe it's stove pressed or cold pressed. Excuse me, it's cold pressed. I apologize. Cold pressed and then made into plugs and sold to us. It's a very robust tobacco. I would say, kind of a medium to strongish flavor. Not overpowering, mind you. Very pleasant, actually. It's the kind of tobacco. I mean, it takes it a minute to get going, but once it gets going, it burns pretty good. The thing about it that I want to make you folks aware is that when you take the plug out of the can, when they send it to you, it comes in their little tin can with the plastic top and pull tab. You take it out of there, you'll get a really good barbecue aroma coming from it. It's very, very nice, very kind of hickorish, I guess the best way I can put it. And then it is a plug. When you pull it apart, it pulls apart, and you can turn it into kind of a ribbon or the flake, and then put in your pipe and smoke it. You got to be patient with it. I love the different blends of the tobaccos when you're pulling apart. It's just really, really it's a pretty tobacco. If you can call tobacco pretty, I think this is. So, that being said, let's fire this puppy up. I started a little bit, but, rambling around, talking to you folks, I kind of lost my place. So, let's get it going. It is, yeah. It's got really good flavor. The only thing I don't like, and I've noticed this with most of the GLP's brands, is not overpowering, not overwhelming, not enough to make you say, yeah, I ain't smoking this no more type of deal. It's got, oh gosh. Dare I say a soapy undertone. And I guess if you're not looking for it, you don't notice it. But it's there nonetheless. You catch it during the smoke, I guess is the best way I can put it, is during the process of the ebbs and flows of the smoke. I wasn't trying to do the Egyptian thing. Walk like an Egyptian. Cool song. Anyways, what was that? The Bangles, wasn't it? Was it the Bengals or the Bangles? I don't know. Something like a bunch of little girls singing. I am smoking it in my recently dropped, I just dropped it before I started the video, Eric Nording Fantasy, I believe, number 5 red. It's a great little pipe. So far, it's withstood its first drop on concrete. Yeah, that scared the you know what out of me. But I picked it up, brushed it off, and so far, got dude. Like I said before, when that dude jumped off that 5-story building, everybody heard him. So far, so good. So far, so good. So far, so good. It's a burning. So far, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's being a pipe. But if you have the means, I recommend it. So it's a good smoker, deep bowl. You know, it's one of them kind of pipes where you got an hour in an afternoon, you want to sit back, relax, smoke some Jackson knife plug in this, burns nice and slow. Believe me, when I say this, I've had 3 test videos before this one. For one reason or another, my dog, this, that, phone calls, you name it. It's just life. And I'd say I got at least a good half bowl left, at least. So you can see the fire right down there, that little cherry burning, ash, whatever you want to call it. But it's down there and it's kicking. So, I'm 6 minutes into this video, but in reality, I'm probably about 30 plus minutes into the whole daggone scene. Like I said, once it gets going, it's just a good burning tobacco. It got a lot of earthy undertones to it. Kind of an oiliness, I guess, the best way to put it. Oily, yeah. Oily tobacco, but not sticky. There was that little bit, just a touch. That soapy undertone. Not like you're getting your mouth washed out with Lifebuoy or Dow, or one of my favorites is Ivory. Makes me think of that Ralphie kid, that movie. I started to get quite a good taste for this and that, but Lifebuoy, yuck. So, yeah. He became quite the connoisseur in soaps. I became the well recipient of Hot Wheel tracks. My mom slung a Hot Wheel track better than most samurai swordsmen. She could Zorro my backside like nobody's business. Scared the crap out of me come Christmas time when I got a new Hot Wheel set. Anyway. Had some family visit me today, that come up from down in the valley, and, brought up my niece, my niece, my great grandniece, I guess they call it, grandniece, and my niece, her husband. Yeah, I guess they're moving up Tennessee. I guess there's law in Tennessee. They don't paint the skies like they do here in Arizona. You know, they don't trail them up. I got a brother-in-law who's a pilot. He's a funny fella. He says, "What's that new green fuel that they're using? A new green aviation fuel they're using in jet airplanes." He says it with a chuckle. And I laugh. I'm like, well, I've been in the auto repair business most of my life. If that green fuel they use up there to make that sky as cloudy can be, if they used it down here, I guarantee you every tree hugging, granola eating, hippie dude and hippie chick, Greenpeace loving sons of guns would be out with their little signs, standing at every gasoline station on planet in this country, saying we don't need it. Can you imagine the smoke that would billow out all the trucks and cars? Make our own fog. Wouldn't even need to wait for that stuff to come down from the sky. I'm joking, of course, for the most part. Not about painting the sky. If you look up in the sky and you don't see what's happening, and I grew as a kid. I grew up. There were only certain kind of clouds, and they weren't made by man. And now we got man-made cloud cover. Folks, notice there's a lot less bugs around. Just not here no more. Just don't see them. Not that plentiful. I was talking to my dad-in-law. We were sitting out here on the porch the other day. He was talking about, he used to come out and sit on the swing, and there'd be 100 ravens just all over the yard, just everywhere, picking and pecking and doing this and doing that. Look, if you see 10, they're mainly up in the trees and this and that. You hear them call, but the wildlife is going away. And that brings me back to what I was saying. I had family come up from down the valley, so we were talking, and my niece grew up here, her whole life. My wife's grown up here her whole life. My wife said, she's like, honey, springtime, it was thick with butterflies, tarantulas, scorpions, snakes, you name it. Just everywhere. My niece said it. It just seems like the past maybe 20 years, I guess it's been. And I've noticed it. I noticed as a child. I remember I used to look up and, like I said, and I grew up in the city, so we didn't have, we had bugs, don't get me wrong, but, I ain't there right now, so I can't attest to what you can and cannot see. I'm here. So all I can attest to is what I've heard. But I can attest to what I've seen, which, I have seen there's less snow each year, less rain each year. And I know people will attribute that to climate change, and I realize that climate change is real. Obviously, it's real. I'm sitting right here, and when the wind starts blowing, that's just changed the climate. Temperature drops 5 degrees. Climate's just changed. And I get it, people. I get it. I'm talking about real climate change, melting of the ice caps, sea levels rising, this, that, The earth goes through phases. The earth, it does happen organically, if it didn't, we wouldn't have had an ice age, we wouldn't have had heat waves, we wouldn't have had this, we wouldn't have that. It happens. It's an organic part of nature. But when you've got studies that are being done from colleges and, academia, I guess the best way I can put it, to where they're actually, they know that, our flora and fauna is now covered with aluminum. That our fires, forest fires, any fires now that burn, they burn more intensely because the aluminum, pulls the heat in. Aluminum, magnesium, barium. Yeah. I'm sure I'm gonna get some comments. I'm dead sure of that. I saw something the other day. I was reading, I guess now the FDA's put out something, a chart that tells you basically what's poisoning you when you consume it. I'm gonna say that again real slow. A chart that you can look at for each individual item and the items that you use to eat them with, how it's packaged, how it's produced, that will kill you over time. I just want to smoke a pipe, live my life. I don't have to worry about the food I'm eating, if it's going to kill me or not. They know now that red dye number 7 will indeed kill you over time. It will cause cancer. It will make you. But they're giving these companies 2 years. 2 years to continue poisoning us, to take it out of the food products that we consume. Gurgling. Hope it didn't break on the inside. Guess we'll find out shortly. Where do we go from here? Do we, is this tolerable? Is this, well, we gotta sit back and take it? I mean, I just, makes me think of what that guy, remember that movie Batman? That guy, the Joker, by Heath Ledger. I think he did the best Joker out there. I remember him saying this, and I, you know, and I'm going to quote him in that movie, you know, as Americans, did collectively did all of our balls just drop off? You know, I mean, are we that afraid? Are we that intimidated? Are we that complacent? Did we lose our ability to stand up and say, no, this is not going to be tolerated anymore? Did our balls fall off? Or do we rather bitch about it on social media and then go sit on the couch and forget about it while we watch, I don't know, the new Snow White, the new and improved Snow White? Anyways. If you're going to bitch about something, be prepared to do something about it. And people say, well, what do we do? What are we going to do? What should we do? What could we do? What can you do? You can't fight City Hall. You can't do this. You can't do that. Someone coming into town with an unjust law, they used to tar and feather them. They also used to run you out on a rail. Literally. Maybe think about running some of these people out of here on a rail. You know. I don't know. My 2 cents worth. I could be wrong. Or maybe everybody's just that comfortable. You know, we don't care about our kids or grandkids or what's going to happen to them because we're too consumed with what's happening to us in the moment. Maybe that's the state of our nation. Let's not worry about it now. We'll let them figure it out later. Anyways, I didn't want to pee on your parade. You know, I just wanted to share my thoughts and the ramblings of a one-eyed fat man. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. I do give the young people better credit than us. They know more than we do about it. They're waking up. They're coming around. Sooner or later, it's going to hit the fan. Anyways, you guys have a good weekend. What's left of it. I'm sitting here smoking in the woodshed. That's all I'm good for right now. Have a good day. Bye.